we're going to put a lot of resources on education. And I learned so much from being a teacher. A teacher, they always hope that your students are better than you are. And as me, a job. Why I become a CEO, why people still believe in me and trust me in my company, because I want my people better than I am. It's so difficult for us to hire people 15 years ago. People who are not that bad. I said people can still walk on the street. We hire them. Because nobody believes internet. Nobody believes internet. And they join the company. Those people who believe they're smart, they were headhunted to the other company. They set up their own company. Those people, nobody go to headhunting them. They stayed. Today they become successful. Very key reasons. We insist, we persist, we never give up. Okay. We believe the dreams together. I told my people a few months ago about a Chinese movie and American movie. American movie, all the heroes may sound, at the beginning of the movie, they're not good guys, it looks like. And at the tough time comes, they are great heroes. And all the heroes are alive. But in China, all the movies, heroes must die. And if the heroes die, nobody want to be the heroes. I have never seen a movie in China that a hero survived. When I started Alibaba, no one believed that the internet could transform the world in the way it has. We had no money, no experience, and honestly, few people believed in our project. But I knew deep down that there was an opportunity. The key to success is to never give up, even when everyone around you doubts you. Being a dreamer is the first step, but the real magic lies in believing in your dream, even when the scenario seems impossible. I've always been a dreamer, even in the face of the worst adversity. When people laughed at me or said the internet wouldn't last, I stayed focused. That's not to say it was easy. There were many moments of doubt, but this unshakable belief in my own potential drove me on. To be an entrepreneur, it is essential to have this vision, this ability to see what no one else sees. I remember a visit to Silicon Valley 15 years ago. I saw the lights on in the companies, people working late at night, and that deeply inspired me to create Alibaba. When I returned to China, I knew that something big was about to happen, and all we needed was persistence. Even without the resources that many big companies have, we kept going. The vision and belief in the dream not only kept me going, but also inspired others around me. It's important to remember, every obstacle is a test, and your persistence will be the key to opening doors that everyone thinks are locked. I said 5 years ago in my speech in China, I said, if banks do not change, let's change the banks. And then they say, no, forget about it. You internet, too bad. So we started from Alipay. When we have more than 300 million active users for Alipay. And we are probably the third largest payment in the world, after Visa, MasterCard, and we are. And then so totally changed. All the young people started using this system. And this system, we are not trying to build up a financial system. We want to build up the credit system for each Chinese individual, each Chinese small business. Innovation is not a choice. It's a necessity. From the very beginning at Alibaba, our focus has always been on finding new ways to solve old problems. When I first saw the internet, it became clear to me that the world was about to change irreversibly. I realized that in order to succeed, we needed to transform the way people did business. It wasn't enough to follow the path of traditional companies. We had to create something different, something that no one had tried yet. Innovation at Alibaba wasn't just about selling products. It was about creating a completely new experience. I wanted people to interact with commerce in a different way, with an element of surprise and discovery. That was the big turning point. At first, many people said that our vision was impractical, but I believed that we were on the right track. I knew that if we continued to focus on innovating, we would solve problems in ways that no one had imagined before. It's important to understand that innovation isn't something that happens once and then stabilizes. It's a continuous process. At Alibaba, we've always been ahead of the curve, anticipating changes before they became obvious. That's how we've managed to turn our company into a giant ecosystem, helping small businesses to grow. And with each new challenge, we saw a new opportunity to innovate, to reinvent the consumer experience and redefine what it means to do business in the digital age.
Well, last year, because of the Alipay, because of Yueba, because the money cap market, within 6 months, we gathered money more than $100 billion US dollars coming out. That make the government worry, make all the banks hated us. I've never seen the top 5 biggest banks in China unite together, want to kill us, you know. Mm-hmm. So everybody criticizes us.
Right.
It's a tough year. You have to spring.
So how would you characterize your relationship with the government right now?
As I always, in love with them, but don't marry them. You know, talk to them, listen to their problem. Government does not need you to say, I love you. The government wants to know that you can solve their problems. We created 14 million jobs for China. We are making all the banks to change. So the government finally realized that we are helping them.
But it sounds like, at least as it is now, they're willing to tolerate the changes you're bringing to the financial system and the overall commercial environment.
Yeah, I went to one-on-one. I talked to all the chairmen of the big banks, sitting down and say, what you are going to do, you know, since we're growing. One of the guys said, Jack, in 10 years, we will have a fantastic memorial for you. Thank Alibaba and Jack Ma for doing these great things. But now we have to kill you.
Building a solid team was one of the biggest challenges I faced at the beginning of Alibaba. I remember how difficult it was to find people who believed in our dream. However, I always knew that in order to achieve success, we needed a team that worked in perfect harmony, like a soccer team where everyone plays for the same goal. And to be honest, my first experience with soccer was somewhat unusual. I was persuaded to invest in a soccer team by a friend who got me drunk and insisted for a year until I gave in. But it was in this experience that I understood the importance of getting people to play as a team, which has been reflected in my work at Alibaba. For a team to be effective, it takes more than simply hiring the best talent. It is essential to enable each person to give their best and work in synergy. A truly strong team is one that knows that collective success is more important than individual success. In the beginning, few people believed in our vision, but those who did became part of something much bigger than they imagined. I've always believed that leadership is about empowering others and helping them see what they can achieve. Today, Alibaba would not be what it is without the combined efforts of our team. Each of us plays a key role, and just like in soccer, victory only happens when everyone plays together. Working as a team is undoubtedly the key to building something that lasts and impacts the world in a meaningful way. Each individual victory contributes to a greater goal, and that's the beauty of teamwork.
It's interesting. I said I learned a lot of things from movies. I learned how to make a speech from the movie called Bodyguard, Whitney Houston. When she sings the songs, I look at her, wow, that's the way that you make a speech, because I never know how to make speech, because I'm not an actor. But when I saw the movie, I say, wow, if you sing from your heart, if you sing naturally, if you're yourself. So I realized, and I learned a lot from the movies, you know, even learned from the Godfathers. My favorite movie is Forrest Gump, you know. These are the things I learned so much. We discuss about the muse, the inspirations we got from movies.
Right.
All my life, I've heard people complaining about China's many problems, and that's how I realized, where there are complaints, there are opportunities. I grew up with this mentality, always looking for solutions rather than focusing on the obstacles. At Alibaba, we see every challenge as a chance to innovate. We know that when no one wants to deal with a problem, that's when we can excel. This thinking has guided me since the beginning of the company, and it continues to be a driving force for us. Crises are the biggest drivers of innovation. For example, issues such as pollution and mental health problems are significant challenges that China will face in the coming years. I see a future where the physical and mental health of our population will be severely affected. And I know that companies like Alibaba have a responsibility to help mitigate these problems. I always say that we should start acting now, not when the crisis is fully set in. That's what allows us to turn problems into long-term opportunities. At Alibaba, we always keep an eye on the problems that nobody wants to solve. That's how we've managed to overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. Every consumer complaint, every difficulty that arises in the market is a chance for us to rethink our strategies and offer something new. After all, the greatest entrepreneurs are those who see opportunity where others see failure. If you want to grow, you need to learn to find these hidden opportunities, especially in times of crisis.
This trip coming here just to want to get the feeling. I watch a lot of movies, but it's not mean I know about no movie industry. One of my friends in the Silicon Valley, and when he became the CEO, I said, "You will never be a good CEO." He said, "Why?" He said, "I've been working with good CEOs for 15 years." And I said, "I watched my mother cook for 30 years. I could not cook." So I come here to learn. I want to come here looking for partners. And I think China will be the largest movie market in the world. Because next 10, 15 years, China will have more than 200 million middle-class people. They need great cultural products.
I have always believed that education is the key to changing the world. Before creating Alibaba, I was an English teacher for 6 years, and that experience profoundly shaped my view of leadership and business. Deep down, I still consider myself a teacher, even though I'm CEO. At Alibaba, I believe that our role goes beyond e-commerce. Our true legacy is to empower people to become better than they were yesterday. A good teacher wants his students to be better than him, and that's my leadership principle. Education must be continuous and accessible. One of our biggest focuses at Alibaba is to create a culture of constant learning. If we want to continue innovating and leading the market, we need to ensure that our team is always learning, developing, and finding new ways to solve problems. When I talk about education, I don't just mean formal education, but also skills development and a growth mindset. I always say, we are not born to be experts, but we can become experts with practice and learning. Furthermore, I believe that education should also transform the way we think as a society. When I look at China, I see enormous potential, but also many challenges. That's why I always say that if we start investing in education and innovation now, China will have a bright future in 10 or 20 years. Every step we take to improve our people's learning reflects directly on the growth of our society and the evolution of Alibaba. Persistence is undoubtedly the most important factor for success. At the beginning of Alibaba, we faced numerous barriers. People didn't believe in our idea. Investors rejected our business model, and we were often ridiculed. However, I never stopped believing that we could turn the impossible into reality. As I always say, if you don't give up, you still have a chance. And it was this mentality that carried us through even in the most difficult times. I remember one of the most challenging moments I faced when Alibaba's money market fund accumulated $100 billion in just a few months. This angered China's state banks so much that they banded together to try to destroy us. It was one of the hardest years of my life, but it was persistence that kept me going. My wife even asked me if I would rather be rich or respected. She chose respect, and that gave me the strength to carry on, even when it seemed that everyone was against us. The truth is that success rarely comes without a fight. Facing adversity is part of the journey. Every time Alibaba was rejected, I saw it as an opportunity to learn and grow. At the end of the day, persistence isn't just about keeping going. It's about continuing to learn from each fall and getting up even stronger. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. And this phrase has always guided my journey. Persistence is undoubtedly the most important factor for success. At the beginning of Alibaba, we faced countless barriers. People didn't believe in our idea, investors rejected our business model, and we were often ridiculed. However, I never stopped believing that we could turn the impossible into reality. As I always say, if you don't give up, you still have a chance. And it was this mentality that carried us through, even in the most difficult times. I remember one of the most challenging moments I faced when Alibaba's money market fund accumulated $100 billion in just a few months. This angered China's state banks so much that they banded together to try to destroy us. It was one of the hardest years of my life, but it was persistence that kept me going. The truth is that without resilience, failure would have been inevitable. But with determination, we managed to overcome all adversity. The truth is that success rarely comes without a fight. Facing adversity is part of the journey. Every time Alibaba was rejected, I saw it as an opportunity to learn and grow. At the end of the day, persistence isn't just about keeping going. It's about continuing to learn from each fall and getting up even stronger. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. And this phrase has always guided my journey. In recent years, Chinese consumer behavior has undergone a remarkable transformation. In the past, people went to physical stores in search of products, but today, young people prefer to do their shopping online. They're not just looking for convenience. They're looking for unique experiences. At Alibaba, our consumers want to be surprised. They love to buy something different from what they've seen in the photos, something unexpected. And this desire for constant innovation has led us to create a platform that goes beyond simple commerce. The new generation of consumers in China is driven by curiosity and the desire to discover new things. They are not satisfied with the old formula of buying what they already know. At Alibaba, we realized this and began offering a shopping experience where the unexpected became the standard. Consumers want an experience that stirs their emotions, that takes them to something they didn't even know they wanted. And this change has challenged us to continually innovate, reinventing the shopping experience. What we are witnessing is a profound change in the way people interact with commerce. Physical stores are becoming less attractive to young people who now prefer the agility and diversity of e-commerce. At Alibaba, we are constantly adapting to these new expectations, providing a shopping experience that involves discovery and surprise. This is the secret to staying ahead by offering more than products, but also sensations and new forms of interaction. Persistence is what has allowed us to overcome many challenges at Alibaba, but something that has also kept us ahead is our ability to adapt to changes, especially consumer demands. In recent years, Chinese consumer behavior has undergone a remarkable transformation. In the past, people went to physical stores in search of products, but today, Young people prefer to do their shopping online. They're not just looking for convenience. They're looking for unique experiences. At Alibaba, our consumers want to be surprised. They love to buy something different from what they've seen in the photos, something unexpected. And this desire for constant innovation has led us to create a platform that goes beyond simple commerce. The new generation of consumers in China is driven by curiosity and the desire to discover new things. They are not satisfied with the old formula of buying what they already know. At Alibaba, we realized this and began offering a shopping experience where the unexpected became the standard. Consumers want an experience that stirs their emotions, that takes them to something they didn't even know they wanted. And this change has challenged us to continually innovate, reinventing the shopping experience. What we are witnessing is a profound change in the way people interact with commerce. Physical stores are becoming less attractive to young people who now prefer the agility and diversity of e-commerce. At Alibaba, we are constantly adapting to these new expectations, providing a shopping experience that involves discovery and surprise. This is the secret to staying ahead by offering more than products, but also sensations and new forms of interaction. Just as consumer behavior has changed, the responsibility of entrepreneurs has also evolved. It's no longer enough just to create a profitable business. The real impact lies in solving social problems. I have always believed that Alibaba's success could not be measured solely by its financial figures, but by the positive impact we have on society. If you want your company to last, you need to help solve social problems. And this has been one of the pillars that guides me as an entrepreneur. At Alibaba, we take responsibility for improving people's lives, offering opportunities for small businesses, and seeking solutions to critical problems such as health and the environment. I remember a conversation where I shared my concern about the future of health in China. Due to air and water pollution, I believe we will face major challenges in the coming decades. And it's up to companies like ours to start acting now, investing in innovation and developing solutions that can make a difference. The modern entrepreneur must look beyond immediate profit. The true measure of success lies in how your company can contribute to the well-being of society. Solving the problems that affect millions of people, whether they are related to health, education, or the environment, is what will ensure long-term relevance. By turning these challenges into opportunities, we are not only building solid businesses, but also helping to create a better world for generations to come. The role of the entrepreneur in society is directly related to the way we use technology. At Alibaba, we have always believed that technology should serve people, not the other way around. Technology is nothing without humanity, and this phrase has defined our approach over the years. We have created a technology platform that connects millions of people, but our focus has always been on human impact. Technology on its own is just a tool. The real power comes from how it can improve people's lives. At Alibaba, we use technology to connect small businesses, help entrepreneurs grow, and offer solutions to problems that affect millions of consumers. It's not just about e-commerce. It's about creating an ecosystem that supports human development. When we started, we knew that technology could transform the way people shop, but we also realized that it could transform society as a whole, creating new opportunities for those who previously didn't have access. The key to the future is to use technology consciously, always with a focus on the human being. We are constantly thinking about how we can innovate, but we never lose sight of the fact that at the heart of everything are people. Alibaba's success would not be possible without this connection between technology and humanity. Every new feature we develop aims not only to make life easier, but also to create a positive impact in the communities we serve. It's easy for any entrepreneur to get lost in short-term goals. However, true success comes from a long-term vision. I've always believed that what we do today should ensure relevance and growth over the next 10 or 20 years. Don't worry about the next 3 years. Focus on where you want to be in 10. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see in companies. Focusing only on immediate success and forgetting to plan for the future. When we started out, all we did was think about how to ensure that our work would continue to grow and adapt over time. We knew that to survive in an ever-changing world, we would always need to be one step ahead. This long-term mentality helped us to see opportunities where others only saw obstacles. And even now, we're constantly asking ourselves, what will we be doing in 10 years' time? Thinking long-term doesn't just mean planning, but also acting in such a way that every decision today has a positive impact on the future. This vision has allowed us to innovate continuously and face the challenges of the market with confidence. After all, true success is not only measured by immediate results, but by the ability to remain relevant and resilient over the years. Even after achieving success, it's essential to keep your feet on the ground. From the beginning, I've always remembered where I came from and the difficulties I've faced. I'm still a learner, even with all the success we've achieved. And it's this mindset of humility that keeps me always willing to learn more and grow. When you lose the ability to be humble, you start to miss opportunities and become disconnected from reality. In the beginning, we were small and hardly anyone believed in our potential. And even after conquering our space, I never let success lead me to arrogance. Being humble means continuing to learn, listen, and adapt. Humility is what allows you to reconnect with your values, remember your roots, and continue to make a difference to the people around you. I always say, you can be great, but you can never forget what got you there. Many companies fail when they start to move away from their origins, forgetting the journey that brought them to success. For me, the secret to continuing to grow is to always remember where it all began and to maintain a thirst for knowledge. This not only keeps you focused, but also ensures that success is sustainable over time. We live in an increasingly interconnected world, and businesses need to adapt to this reality. When I started my journey, one of my biggest inspirations was to observe the power of innovation coming out of China. I remember my visit to Silicon Valley 15 years ago, where I saw the energy of people working late into the night. It was there that I realized how much the world was changing and how globalization would be a force that would shape the future of business. Globalization is not a threat, it is an opportunity. These days, it's not enough to sell products locally. We need to think about how to connect global markets and create opportunities that cross borders. This is how small businesses can grow and compete in a global market. I've always seen globalization as a bridge where we're not just exporting, but also bringing the best of the world to our consumers. Those who know how to take advantage of globalization's opportunities will be the leaders of the future. It's a challenge to adapt to this scenario, but at the same time, it offers the greatest opportunities for growth. Ultimately, the businesses that will thrive are those that see the world as an interconnected network and know how to use these connections intelligently and strategically. We live in an increasingly interconnected world, and businesses need to adapt to this reality. When I started my journey, one of my biggest inspirations was to observe the power of innovation coming out of China. I remember my visit to Silicon Valley 15 years ago, where I saw the energy of people working late into the night. It was there that I realized how much the world was changing and how globalization would be a force that would shape the future of business. Globalization is not a threat. It is an opportunity. A clear example of this was when we managed to sell 150 tons of cherries from Washington State to China in just a few days. We weren't just connecting products and consumers, we were creating a bridge between markets that previously had little or no connection. This kind of connection shows how companies can grow and compete globally, creating new opportunities that benefit both local producers and foreign consumers. Those who know how to seize the opportunities of globalization will be the leaders of the future. It's a challenge to adapt to this scenario, but at the same time, it offers the greatest opportunities for growth. Ultimately, the businesses that will thrive are those that see the world as an interconnected network and know how to use these connections intelligently and strategically. Trust is the foundation of any successful business. Throughout my journey, I've realized that without trust, no transaction can take place in a sustainable way. That's why, from the outset, I have always sought to create an environment in which buyers and sellers feel safe and confident. If people trust you, they'll come back. If they don't, you won't get a second chance. This principle has always been a priority in every decision we make. Building trust starts with transparency. I remember the early days when we had to convince both consumers and small businesses that they could trust our platform. We knew that in order to grow, we needed to create a secure environment where people could carry out transactions without fear. This involved creating robust systems to guarantee the security of information and payments, as well as promoting a culture of responsibility and mutual respect. When you build trust, you build loyalty. It's not enough to offer a good product. You have to ensure that people trust the whole experience. This is the true differentiator of a business that thrives in the long term. In such a competitive and dynamic world, trust remains the most valuable currency, and those who know how to cultivate it will always be one step ahead. I have always believed in the transformative power of films. They have the ability to shape mentalities, especially among young people. That's why I see movies as a powerful tool to educate and inspire. When I think of American films, many of the heroes face great challenges, but in the end they win. However, in Chinese films, the heroes often die in the end, which reflects a more fatalistic view of life. I believe we need to change that. We need more heroes who survive to inspire future generations. Films are not just entertainment. They can influence the behavior and thinking of an entire society. I see filmmaking as an opportunity to teach values and transmit positive messages to young people. What worries me is that with China's rapidly growing economy, we are raising a generation with full pockets but empty minds. And films can be a way of filling this gap, conveying life lessons and offering new perspectives. Investing in films that inspire and educate is a way of shaping the society of the future. For me, it's not just about making successful movies, but about creating stories that touch people on a deeper level. When you show that heroes can win, even in the face of adversity, you give hope and strength to those facing their own battles. That's the true essence of educating through cinema. I've always believed in the power of small businesses. They are the backbone of any economy, and my mission has always been to empower them by giving them the tools they need to compete in a global market. The big won't overthrow the small, the fast will overthrow the slow, and this is especially true when we think of small businesses, which have the agility to adapt quickly to changes in the market. From the outset, our focus was on building a platform where these small entrepreneurs could thrive. When we connect small businesses with the world, we create a virtuous cycle of innovation and growth. An example of this was when we helped small nut producers in the United States sell 80 tons of their product directly to consumers in China in just 15 days. This kind of action not only allowed these farmers to expand their business, but also brought Chinese consumers quality products that would otherwise not have been available. It is in this kind of initiative that we see the true impact of globalization. Small companies may seem insignificant, but when given the right support, they have the power to become giants. My goal has always been to give these companies the tools and confidence to compete in a global market, taking advantage of all the opportunities that globalization offers. Their success is in many ways our success, and this demonstrates the real value of investing in the foundations of the economy. Success rarely comes easily. Resilience, that ability to resist and keep going even when everything seems to be falling apart, is what defines the path of a true entrepreneur. When I started out, people constantly told me that it wouldn't be possible to build something big. If you want to grow, you have to get used to being criticized, and it was this criticism that drove me on. With every challenge, with every closed door, there was a new opportunity to learn and become stronger. I'm always inspired by the movie Forrest Gump, where the protagonist never gives up, regardless of the difficulties he faces. He just keeps running, believing that the important thing is to keep going. Business life is like that. No matter how many times we fall, what really counts is how we get up. Resilience isn't just about moving on. It's about learning from mistakes, adapting and staying focused, just as Forrest did. This movie taught me that no matter how chaotic the journey may seem, the simple act of continuing is already a victory. No matter how difficult the journey, what separates those who succeed from those who fail is the ability to keep going, even when everything seems to be against you. Today is difficult, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be the sun. And this is the mentality that has guided my entire trajectory. Maintaining resilience in the face of adversity is not just a necessity. It's the key to building something lasting and meaningful. Just like in the example of Forrest Gump, who never let difficulties stop him, he stopped. When I think about China's future, I see challenges, but I also see enormous potential. The country has grown rapidly in recent decades, but this growth has brought with it a number of problems, such as pollution and health issues. I'm worried about the impact of air and water quality on people's health over the next 10 years. However, I believe that if we start acting now, we can turn these challenges into opportunities. Companies, governments, and citizens must join forces to create a sustainable and prosperous future. I strongly believe that China's future lies in the hands of the next generations and what they will do with the tools they have at their disposal. This is not limited to China. The whole world needs to focus on innovation and education if we are to solve the big problems we face. It's not just about economic growth. It's about how we can use our resources and our minds to create a more balanced and just world. I always say the best opportunity is where people complain the most. And today, many of those complaints are linked to health, the environment, and inequality. Looking to the future, I don't just see problems. I see solutions waiting to be discovered. The world is interconnected, and what we do here will have an impact in other regions. If we can find ways to tackle today's challenges with innovation, collaboration, and long-term vision, the future will be bright, not just for China, but for the whole world. The key is to start now, because the future waits for no one. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned along my journey is that real success comes from a long-term vision. Many entrepreneurs are only focused on immediate results, but this is a mistake. When I founded the company, I knew we needed to think beyond the next 2 or 3 years. Every step we took was with the aim of ensuring that we would be ready for the future. I always say, don't worry about next year, worry about the next decade. Having a long-term vision means anticipating changes and always being one step ahead. In the beginning, it was difficult, especially as we were in a fast-growing and constantly changing market. But our ability to look to the future, rather than focusing only on the immediate rewards, allowed us to make smarter decisions. This not only ensured our growth, but also our continued relevance in an ever-evolving world. This long-term mindset is what makes the difference between a company that thrives and one that merely survives. Planning for the future is not an easy task. It requires patience and strategic vision. But it is this patience that allows you to build something that will last. Immediate success is good, but lasting success is built with vision, perseverance, and a constant look to the future. Small businesses are the heart of any vibrant economy. From the outset, I have always believed that they play a crucial role in economic and social development. What is small today can be giant tomorrow, which is why I have always strived to provide the tools and opportunities necessary for these businesses to thrive. Empowering small entrepreneurs means giving them the ability to innovate, compete, and eventually become big businesses. An example of this was when we managed to connect small nut producers in the United States directly with consumers in China. In just 15 days, we sold 80 tons of walnuts, an achievement that benefited both producers and consumers. Small businesses have this unique ability to adapt quickly to changes in the market, and this makes them essential for the sustainable growth of the global economy. Investing in small businesses is investing in the future. When we help small initiatives to grow, we are creating a virtuous cycle that benefits everyone. Their success is not only a reflection of their resilience, but also of their ability to see opportunities where many see challenges. By providing the necessary support, we turn their potential into real impact, driving growth and innovation on the global stage. When I look to the future of China and the world, I see a horizon full of challenges, but also full of opportunities. I believe that the next 10 to 20 years will be decisive for the development not only of the country, but of the entire global economy. Problems such as pollution, public health, and inequality are urgent issues that need to be tackled. The best opportunities are where people complain the most, which is why I believe that companies, governments, and individuals must come together to solve these issues. For me, the future depends on how we tackle these challenges today. China has enormous potential to lead the way in terms of innovation and sustainability, but this will require a collective commitment. I always say that success lies not just in looking at the present, but in planning for the future. The next generations will have to deal with the problems we have created, and our responsibility is to ensure that they have the tools and knowledge to build a better future. The world is interconnected like never before. The decisions we make today will have a global impact, and that goes for companies, governments, and citizens. If we start acting now, we can turn today's challenges into tomorrow's great opportunities. The future of China and the world is in our hands, and the path we choose now will determine the kind of legacy we leave for generations to come.
Have you ever wondered how someone can start from scratch and achieve absolute success? In today's video, we explore the transformative lessons of Jack Ma, co-founder of Alibaba, who started from nothing and built a global empire. During the presentation, we dive deep into the strategies and challenges that shaped his trajectory, revealing the secrets behind his success. If you thought success was a matter of luck, this presentation proved otherwise. Jack Ma showed us that the key lies in having a long-term vision, unwavering resilience, and the ability to turn problems into opportunities. We discussed how he overcame rejection, took on big banks, and revolutionized the behavior of millions of consumers around the world. It was a fascinating journey through Jack Ma's life lessons, full of practical advice and powerful insights that changed not only his trajectory, but also that of everyone who watched. The lessons presented may be just what you need to take the next step on your own journey to success. Jack Ma started his career as an English teacher, a reality far removed from the corporate world. His story serves as living proof that perseverance and a growth mindset can transform anyone's life. Without any background in technology or strong industry connections, he saw the potential of the internet long before others did, founding Alibaba against all odds. Initially, no one believed in the power of the internet, but Jack Ma had a clear vision. He knew true success comes from persistence and the courage to keep going, even when everything seems impossible. When reflecting on his early struggles, Jack Ma emphasizes that what matters is not how you start, but how you persist throughout the journey. He began his company in a small apartment, with no financial backing or institutional support, yet with an idea strong enough to keep him motivated. As Jack often says, dream big or dream small, the effort is the same, and that belief guided his rise to the top. His journey is a reminder that anyone can start from the bottom and reach unimaginable heights with the right mindset, discipline, and focus on personal development. For Jack Ma, innovation isn't just an option, it's a necessity. In today's fast-paced world, businesses that don't innovate fall behind. When Jack first saw the internet, he realized it would change everything. That realization became the turning point for Alibaba's growth. Innovation isn't about doing what others are already doing, but creating something entirely new to meet people's needs. Jack Ma didn't just want to sell products, he wanted to revolutionize how people interacted with commerce itself. In his words, "We didn't copy from others, we redefined the experience." This mindset allowed Alibaba to grow into a global giant. Innovation, for Jack Ma, is about finding smarter ways to solve problems and constantly adapting to stay ahead of trends. It's not about perfection, but about making steady progress toward improving how things are done. Whether in business or personal growth, adopting an innovative mindset will keep you moving forward. Why? Building a strong team was one of the greatest challenges Jack Ma faced. He quickly learned that no individual can achieve great success alone. Business is a team sport, he often says, comparing it to football, where 11 players must work as one unit to win. In the early days, very few people believed in Alibaba's vision, but those who joined the journey became part of something bigger. Jack's leadership approach focused on empowering others to reach their full potential, creating an environment where everyone could contribute their best. Teamwork is more than just working together. It's about aligning everyone's efforts toward a common goal. Jack Ma built a culture where every team member understood that their success was tied to the company's success. Whether you're running a business or working on personal growth, building a strong team around you is essential for achieving long-term success. The real challenge is creating an atmosphere where people are inspired to give their all. Jack Ma's philosophy has always been that, where there are complaints, there are opportunities. Growing up in China, he was surrounded by people who constantly complained about the difficulties they faced. Instead of joining them, he saw these challenges as chances for innovation. Jack firmly believes that every crisis presents an opportunity for those willing to find solutions, and this mindset was central to Alibaba's success. For instance, when facing environmental issues and mental health challenges in China, Jack identified these as future problems that Alibaba could help solve. Rather than wait for the crisis to unfold, he pushed for innovation early on, tackling issues before they became unmanageable. Whether it's in business or personal development, the ability to turn problems into opportunities is what separates successful individuals from those who remain stuck in their circumstances. As a former teacher, Jack Ma has always placed a high value on education. He believes that education is the key to transforming the world, not just on a personal level, but on a global scale. Even after transitioning into business, Jack continued to view his role as that of an educator, empowering people to be better than they were yesterday. In his words, the best teachers want their students to surpass them, and that's a principle he's carried into his leadership at Alibaba. Education should never stop. Continuous learning is what keeps innovation alive, and Jack has embedded this philosophy into Alibaba's culture. Whether you're growing a business or improving yourself, committing to lifelong education is essential. "We didn't just create a company," Jack says. "We built a school where everyone, including myself, keeps learning." This mentality ensures that you're always evolving, which is key to staying ahead in both business and personal development. The path to success is long and filled with obstacles. Jack Ma knows this better than anyone. If you don't give up, you still have a chance, is one of his core beliefs. In the early days of Alibaba, they faced countless rejections. Investors didn't believe in the business model, and the market wasn't ready. But persistence was the one thing that kept them going. Each failure was seen as a stepping stone, not a roadblock. Jack Ma teaches us that persistence is about maintaining focus and determination even when things seem impossible. Failure isn't the end. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. Today is tough. Tomorrow will be tougher. But the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. This outlook carried Alibaba through its toughest times and is a powerful lesson for anyone on their journey to personal or professional success. Keep pushing, even when it feels like everything is against you. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is focusing solely on the short term. Jack Ma always thought differently. He encourages leaders to think in decades, not months. What we do today is not for the next 3 years, but for the next 10. This long-term thinking is what allowed Alibaba to grow sustainably, adapting to market changes without losing sight of its core mission. Long-term vision also means anticipating future trends and preparing for them. Jack believes that success is not just about what you achieve in the present, but about positioning yourself for the future. For anyone aiming for success, whether in business or personal life, it's crucial to develop the discipline of thinking beyond immediate gains. When you look ahead, you're better prepared for the challenges that will inevitably come. Jack Ma is a firm believer that your mindset determines your success. One of his most powerful teachings is how to cultivate an optimistic outlook, even in the face of failure. If you're not optimistic, you'll never have the courage to take risks, he says. When Alibaba faced its toughest times, it was Jack's ability to remain hopeful that inspired his team to keep pushing forward. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means believing in the possibility of overcoming them. Shifting your mindset toward optimism requires daily practices of mindfulness, self-awareness, and gratitude. Jack emphasizes the importance of taking time to reflect, maintain focus, and celebrate even the small wins. He reminds us that optimism fuels resilience and innovation. Whether you're starting a business or working on personal development, adopting an optimistic mindset is the foundation for achieving long-term success. Even after reaching monumental success, Jack Ma never forgot his humble beginnings. "I am still just a student," he often says, despite being one of the most influential business leaders in the world. Humility, according to Jack, is the key to continued learning and growth. Success can easily lead to arrogance, but staying grounded ensures that you remain open to new ideas and opportunities. Jack believes that humility is essential for anyone aiming for long-term success. It's about recognizing that, no matter how far you've come, there's always more to learn. You can be big, but you must never forget what made you grow, he advises. For Jack, success is not about the destination. It's about staying curious, grounded, and always striving to improve. Now that you've learned the secrets that transformed Jack Ma's life, it's time to apply this knowledge to your own journey. Ask yourself, what can you do today to turn your challenges into opportunities? What steps are you willing to take to prepare for the future, just as Jack did? The road to success is full of obstacles, but as we've seen, it's your persistence, resilience, and long-term vision that will get you to the top. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. Whenever you need motivation, go back and watch this video again. The lessons Jack Ma left us are timeless and can be the source of inspiration you need in times of doubt. Keep learning, innovating, and never give up on your dreams. As Jack Ma always said, if you don't give up, you still have a chance. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss any content, and let us know in the comments which lesson had the most impact on you. And if you want to continue learning from great leaders, watch the next video we've prepared for you, entitled How I Impacted the World, a philosophy of success that will also work for you, Jack Ma. It will go even deeper into your success strategies. See you there.